Just wait for this to blow over. I hope. My original plan for this week was to head up to the Catskills, out near Phoenicia, New York, and spend 3 or 4 days hiking around Slide Mountain, Wittenberg, Cornell. But the weather just isn't going to cooperate. There's an 80 to 100% chance of severe storms in Phoenicia, which means up in the mountains it's going to most likely be a little bit worse. So I spent the last 2 days deciding what I was going to do, watching the weather, Catskills or something else. Settled on staying in Pennsylvania and going out to Trout Creek State Park, which is about halfway between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh, and right on Raystown Lake, which is a huge man-made lake. Now the weather's going to be slightly better, but at least I won't be out in the middle of backcountry, so I have some place to bail out to should the weather turn really bad. An interesting side note to Raystown Lake, it's one of the few places in Pennsylvania that I know of that has a lake monster. Yep. Lake monster. So I'm going to spend a little time kayaking and looking for Ray, the Raystown Lake monster, and see if I find him. You never know. So I got here to got to Trout Creek State Park and got set up in the campsite and had a few minutes to get some food, and then immediately got dark. The sun was out about 20 minutes ago. It was bright. It was sunny. I was about ready to go just hang out in the hammock, just set it back there, and just got underneath the tarp, and lightning hit probably about a mile away. It was pretty close. So I decided it was safer to come and sit in the car. Don't want to get struck by lightning. So I'm heading down into the ice mines, and wow, that is a sudden change. Holy crap, I can almost see my breath. It is chilly down here. The air is just frigid air pouring out of here. No, I'm not gonna go back in there, but there's a black bear directly behind me, and he doesn't really seem to care at all that I'm here. He's sniffed around at me a couple times, but he doesn't really seem to care. There he is. So today's been a fairly interesting day. Started out raining and a little chilly, but wound up clearing it off pretty nicely. And I went out to Raystown Lake and did a little kayaking for a couple hours, but it immediately, or almost immediately, got way too hot to be out there. So I went up to the main visitor center of Raystown Lake and checked it out, and that's pretty cool. That's not a state park, that's actually run by the Army Corps of Engineers. So before I headed back to Trout Creek and the campsite, I decided to come down here and check out Warriors Path State Park. And this is pretty much it. I'll pan around for a second, but there's not a whole lot going on here. There's no park office, there's no amenities, there's some bathrooms up top, but they look like they haven't been used in quite a while. Just kind of chilling out here on the Raystown branch, and got these really cool rock formations behind me. And that's about it in this little park. So cool to see. Glad I came down here. But there's not a whole lot going on, so I'm gonna chill out for a few minutes and then head back to the campsite and see if get lucky today and miss the rain. So we'll see. So for the second day in a row, it is absolutely pouring midday. I hope when I get back to the campsite, my hammock is still there. Right now, I could almost kayak underneath the volleyball net over there. This is Raven Rock, and this is where it's believed Edgar Allan Poe came to. It was inspired to write The Raven, because all the ravens he saw nesting there. been an interesting 24 hours since that hike. As you can tell, it was raining pretty hard, but the storm passed pretty quickly, and I was getting ready to just kind of chill out at the campsite, get in the hammock and just chill out. And I realized that there was no one else in the campground. There was one camper there when I left, but I swear I saw more people coming in. So I turned in the weather radio, and they were forecasting extreme weather moving into the area. They were actually encouraging people south of where I was to get to the lowest point of their homes. In the spot where I was, they're expecting 60-mile-an-hour winds, strong downpours, lightning, and hail. And all I had was my hammock. Wasn't really too keen trying to get through that weather in just a hammock. So I packed everything up. I drove out of the park to get a little better cell phone service so I could pull up the weather map. And sure enough, there was a large storm system that had just caught the edge of the park. But it was pretty much all the way across the state, and there was another one coming through behind it. I decided if I was going to just drive straight home, which would take me catty corner through that storm system, which, good weather, that's a 3.5 hour drive. And that weather would have been more like 4.5 hours. I could have stayed where I was, and hopefully the weather wasn't as bad as they said, or I could go straight north and try to wait out the weather. So I decided to go straight north, went back up to Du Bois, where I was a few weeks ago. It took me about an hour and a half to get up there, and I just caught the very northern end of that storm system that was coming through. It missed Du Bois, but Trail Creek State Park got pummeled with that storm, so I'm glad I left. So I stayed in a hotel, enjoyed the air conditioning and the shower, since the state park didn't have any showers. And just got up this morning, took my time, and make my way back across the back roads. I'd like to avoid the highway whenever possible. Stopped at Samuel B. Elliott State Park, which I missed when I was out there for the elk. So I got a chance to stop by there. Not much going on at that park. It's just kind of it's just like a campground, a couple little hiking trails, but it's surrounded by the Moshannon State Forest. So that might be interesting to go back to and take some treks out into the state forest. And then I've just been winding my way through, hopefully avoiding more weather on my way back home. So it's always an adventure. So not always having a plan is fun, but you can sometimes almost get yourself in some trouble. So if you're not going to make a plan, you're just going to go out and you're going to explore. Make sure you've got a weather radio, or you know you're going to have good service where you can keep an eye on the weather. Especially if all you're going to have is a tent or a hammock, because you never know when bad weather is going to strike. So always keep that in mind. So thanks for checking out the video. Like it, share it, and go outside and do something.